For more on the investigation, let's bring in Timothy Reboulet, a former Secret Service agent on Presidential Protective Detail. He's now the Chief Operating Officer for M6 Global Defense. When you look at what happened here, I know that Charlie Kirk had some security. In fact, his security team is the ones that are the ones who removed him from the stage. But were there mistakes made, or was this just something that could not have been anticipated?
Well, hi, John. Thanks for having me. And yeah, to answer your question, I don't want to sit back and Monday morning quarterback, but there's definitely things that could be done differently. I don't know if it would have prevented what happened, but at least could have mitigated what happened by having the proper personnel and digesting the threat intelligence. Everything starts with threat intelligence. As we know, the threat intelligence on Mr. Kirk was rather high, and then that would dictate how you conduct your site assessment, how you create your detail, and then mitigate the threat.
Yeah, and I don't mean to suggest either that his team made a mistake, but it's just so strange that this would-be assassin could come out of nowhere and have access to that roof, have made all of these plans to not only get the shot off, but then apparently get away and lead a chase for a day and a half. How does that happen?
Well, John, you hit it on the head. He didn't just show up. He didn't just show up that day and commit this heinous act. Like most attackers or terrorists, which this guy is, or murderers, they have a plan in place. And I know the evidence, or obviously I haven't seen the evidence. I guarantee you he planned this and did a dry run and knew exactly where to park in that neighborhood, where to scale the fence, where to climb the roof, where to get the weapon. So there's dry runs, just like any a terrorist attack. So the warning signs were there. Even the online messaging, which I heard that he had with his roommate on Discord, the warning signs were there, and we just need people to be better and speak up, see something, say something.
Paul Morrow was a guest of ours about an hour ago. He's a former New York City detective, and he has a lot of questions, too, about some of the pre-planning that went into this attack. Listen.
One of the things that I still question, which is I'm surprised that we haven't heard anything about how he knew so much about that roof. You don't go with that gun to do what he did, just hoping you get up on the roof. He knew that he wasn't going to encounter a security guard in the building. He knew he'd be able to get access to that roof. He also knew where the stage would be positioned so that he would have a line of sight to that roof. All of that argues familiarity with the terrain. And yet he didn't go to this school, and I haven't heard of any connections to this school. So that's a gap that I'm sure that they're running down.
Does it suggest to you that he might have had some help, some accomplices who helped him pull this off?
Yes, that's always possible, especially as I referenced the messaging he had on Discord. From what I've seen, it sounds like maybe that individual helped him stash that weapon that he used in this attack. As far as the school goes, let's look back a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks prior on video. And if he did his pre-planning and scoped it out, we're going to see that on video. So I have full faith in the FBI and local law enforcement. They'll uncover everything as we move forward. We got to remember that we're only, a short time away from this horrible incident.
Yeah. I know that you spent time in the Secret Service trying to prevent events like this and successfully. But everybody is wondering what motivates somebody to hate this much that you pull the trigger on a guy you've really never even met. Is that something that you think about? Is that something you can explain?
Yes, and being a retired Secret Service agent, and we've been in existence now for 160 years, this is a question that we've posed and studied, and in the late 90s, we came up with the exceptional case study that talks about the pathway to violence, and everything that put somebody on the pathway to violence starts with a grievance. And once we find out what this individual's grievance was, we probably deduce what the grievance was, and that will lead that individual from the grievance to the ideation, to the planning, the probing, then eventually the execution. So not only this individual, but other individuals out there, of course, have grievances, but we have to get these individuals off the pathway to violence. Even the shooter July 13th in Butler, Pennsylvania, the individual September 15th in Florida, all these individuals over the last 15 months or so have been radicalized either online or with the violent rhetoric that has been being spewed by, quite frankly, the politicians that lead our government.
Timothy Reboulet, formerly with the Secret Service, we appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.